like scarlet pink that like fades into like lighter pink, just almost like this dip dyed, like multi-tonal. It's so pretty, and
in the arms of the angel.
Okay, that's enough. It is crazy to me that half of the year is already over, but this is my favorite time in my garden because it is transitioning into this green, luscious, blooming oasis that I just
love so much.
and I can't shut up about it. So let's get into it. Now my peonies bloomed probably like end of May into early June, and they didn't really last for too long because once they bloomed, they just got like hammered by back-to-back rainstorms. So they got really waterlogged and soggy and brown, and they turned into a mess very quickly. But for a blink of a moment, they were spectacular. Now, I don't know if you remember, but there's this butterfly bush that was somehow seeded in one of my peony beds. I think the culprit may be a little bird or a rascally little squirrel. I don't know for sure. So once again, I was like, I need to get this out of my peony bed. Now last year, for some reason, I thought like, you know what, I'm just gonna cut it back, leave it for now. You know, I really gave in to my like lazy procrastination, I'll deal with it later mindset. And boy, oh boy, was that a mistake. I should have realized, but I didn't realize that she was gonna come back with a vengeance, and man, did she ever. The roots of this plant are so deep. My mom and I like engaged in this like push, pull, shovel war for like 45-ish minutes and didn't make a lot of progress. She is thick, okay, with all C's. And I could think of another C word to call her. Cheeky, challenging, character building. What were you thinking? You silly gooses? And then of course, cut to present day. And I decided to leave it there again. We cut it back and we left it. Yikes. I know. Here's the thing. There's a couple of reasons why I decided to do it that way. First of all, I do think to like minimize the amount of damage and disruption to this peony plant, I think I'm gonna have to dig it up and take it out of the bed in order to like really go after the roots of this butterfly bush. It has like intermingled itself all up and around this peony, and it like really kind of sucks because peonies don't respond well to having their roots messed with or disrupted. So it is unfortunate, but either way there's going to be some disruption, and I just am trying to do the least amount of damage to the plant that I care about. So come fall, I am going to dig it, exile the bush, and hope for the best. And then the second reason that I have decided to leave it where it is, to share something a little bit personal, I am currently dealing with a little bit of a health situation, nothing extremely crazy, but it has been very hard on me, and I don't really have the amount of energy that I'm used to having normally. Speaking of more things that zapped my energy, I talked a lot in other videos about how I wanted to move my bee balm from this little front garden to a different location. Don't get me wrong, I love bee balm so much. I think it's so beautiful. It attract so many different herds and hordes of pollinators. I really, really do love it. But I realize now in retrospect that like planting it in this location was a mistake, because it creates this like giant, like solid wall of bee balm and you just can't see the garden through it. And because this is like a bordering bed, I want to be able to like see the whole garden. But if you are unaware, bee balm spreads through rhizomes, and those little rhizome roots had their hooks into this bed. It was so tough to get it out of there. I don't have any footage of like taking it out of that bed, but just trust me when I say that it was another character building fight. So much so that I actually left the bee balm on this side of the garden because I just didn't want to deal with it. And even this like little patch, this is a problem for another day. And I did plant 2 of my new dahlias. I have the Cafe au lait rose and then the La Belle Epoch, and they're both just these really dreamy, like beautiful, like pinks. And I think it's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait to see them bloom and to see how this little like entryway into the garden starts to take shape. To talk about a bed that I don't normally talk about, this little garden bed here is a tricky biscuit when it comes to choosing plants because of Miss Magnolia. So when we built this like cutting garden, we built it around the existing magnolia tree. And at that time, like it really wasn't a very big tree. But now, I mean, over the years and with all of the water that it gets from like runoff from the garden beds, it is very happy and it is quite large in size, which means that it casts a shadow particularly over this garden space. So I do have some forget-me-nots. It's the Miss Maryland variety. It grows pretty well in like partial shade. And then obviously this like Love and a Mist, the Nigella, has just like spread like crazy. I did pull a bunch of it out this year to kind of make more space for those forget-me-nots that came back. And then also so that I could plant the lovely, the beautiful, the never before mentioned on this channel, I don't think, Astilbe. Because even though I've never brought you up by name before, I still be loving you forever and always. I don't know why I did that, I'm sorry. It has actually been my plan to plant Astilbe in this area for quite a long time because Astilbe is a shade-loving plant. It is beautiful in cut arrangements and it adds a really nice, gorgeous texture to your garden. I just haven't gotten around to it because sometimes I lack follow-through. And if you have any other like shade-loving cut flowers, please let me know down in the comments what they are because I'm always in the mood for new inspiration. Now, I did have a comment from somebody, I think last month, and basically, saying that their zinnias had kind of like stalled when it came to growth. And they were asking, do I give it more time? Do I wait and see what happens? Should I pull them out and start over? And what I find in my garden, especially with my annuals and like my heat-loving annuals, so my zinnias, my celosia, even my cosmos, those don't really start to like take off super well until we're like middle of summer. And another thing that I'll say is that a lot of times with plants that are new to your garden, when you initially put them out there, they may seem like they're stalling, and that could be because they're doing the majority of their growth underground, right? They're establishing like really good, strong root systems in your garden. And then once they kind of get done establishing that way, then they'll start growing upward and outward where you can actually notice it. So if you feel like your plants are just kind of like in this weird lull between like when you planted them and when like, that really good summer weather is like really hitting us, it might just be that they're like transitioning, they're getting their roots established, and then they'll start to grow better for you above ground. My garden is running its usual course when it comes to like what plants are blooming and what's really tall and big at this moment. These are my like established perennials. These are my self-seeded plants. These are plants that have come back on their own, right? These are plants that I've had for years. So things like my yarrow, my rudbeckia, my bee balm, my dahlias, my nemesis calendula, And that's something that is really nice and important to keep in mind when you're planning out your garden, especially if you're going through seasons of life like I am right now, where I just don't have as much energy to give to my garden as I normally do. I think it's probably like 70 to 80% of my garden is already established. And that, especially right now, is a dream come true because I don't have to put extra work into my garden, and it's going to be beautiful. It might not be perfect, it might not be what I pictured for this year, but it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So don't underestimate the power of a perennial or a self-seeded plant, because you can always, always, always make more room for annuals. Divide your perennials, give some away to friends. You can always find spots for annuals. Invest in your perennials. And I think that that is everything that I have to share with you guys today. Thank you so, so much for being here. Thank you for being patient if you've been here a while. I know the last couple of months I'm not usually the best at like a posting schedule because I'm like absolute chaos when it comes to that. But I do try my best. And the last few months have been like really challenging to film and to edit, and honestly I haven't really been spending a ton of time in my garden, so I don't really have like really beautiful like cool things to like show you because I've mostly just been resting. I'm hoping to post another video soon, but I also do have surgery at the beginning of August, and I'm supposed to be out for the count after that for like 6 weeks. So I'm going to do my best, but please be patient with me and please stick around because I'm so thankful for this community that I have and for all you guys. So yeah, hopefully soon I'll have some more content for you, but it just might be kind of slow moving for a little while. But please share with me down in the comments what's going on in your garden, what you're excited for, what's new, what's maybe not going exactly to plan as you thought it might. I love hearing from you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one.